Welcome everyone, I'm Jordan Sharp as we head into the month of July, and even though training camp is still only a few weeks away, it is time to release my first edition of this offseason of my playoff predictions, starting with the National Football Conference and the NFC. I have a change coming up from the last year's number one seed, and this year I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to end up capturing that top spot in the NFC. Now, it remains to be seen whether or not they can actually advance through to the Super Bowl and win it, but I do think they're good enough this season, and I think the Seahawks, more importantly, are going to be down just a little bit and just enough to where I think San Francisco can win 12, possibly even 13 games like Seattle did last year, capture that number one overall seed. Their defense is going to continue to still be very good this year with the addition of Stevie Johnson. Their wide receiving core is going to be outstanding. Yes, they paid Colin Kaepernick a ton of money, but as long as he keeps playing like he has been, I think the contract's going to end up being worth it in the long run. However, it remains to be seen whether or not they can win in the playoffs. But I think with this, I think they can definitely win in the regular season. So my second team here, the team also getting a bye I have, is the Green Bay Packers right now. I think Green Bay is going to be a solid contender this season for the NFC. One of those teams that could very much take down a San Francisco or a Seattle in an NFC titles game. They have Eddie Lacy, who's really established himself as a three-down back, I think, for them. And with Aaron Rodgers, as long as he's healthy, obviously it wasn't last year, I think the Green Bay Packers can win at least 11 or 12 games this season as long as their defense stays healthy, which was another main concern of theirs last year. Now, for the third seed, I have the New Orleans Saints. I think they will pretty much take care of the NFC South. I'm not really threatened, I think, by the Atlanta Falcons too much this season. I think the Panthers are definitely going to regress a lot after their 12-win season. I think they'll still be in the mix for a playoff spot, but I think the Saints, in the end, 10 or 11 win football team this season, and I think that Drew Brees will get it done. I'm not too detracted by the Jimmy Graham contract situation, which should be unveiling itself more within the next couple of days. But I think New Orleans is good enough to grab that third seed. Now, the fourth seed also have a little bit of a shakeup here after only 3 wins last year. I think the Washington Redskins are going to bounce back under new coach Jay Gruden and grab that 4th overall seed, winners of the NFC East. I don't think that division is going to be very good this year. I think the Eagles are going to regress some. I think now that teams have some tape on Chip Kelly, I don't think the Eagles are going to be as good and as potent offensively as they were last year, whereas the Redskins are going to be dominating defensively if indeed they stay healthy, and on offense, as long as Robert Griffin III can take Jay Gruden's new system. I think they have a lot of weapons now with D-Jax heading into with Pierre Garçon and Alfred Morris. Don't forget about him, a touchdown machine there in the backfield. I think the Redskins could easily get to 9 wins this season, possibly even 10, but I think 9 will be enough to win the NFC East this season. Now, my first wildcard team is quite predictably the Seattle Seahawks. I still think they're going to have an excellent season, but like I said previously, I think the 49ers are going to edge them out in the NFC West. Seattle lost a lot on their defense this offseason after winning the Super Bowl, and I'm not quite sold on their offense, their passing game, especially with Percy Harvin being really asked to be the lead guy here. He stays healthy, and Marshawn Lynch also getting up there in age. Can he stay healthy with the amount of work that he has to take care of in that offense? Now, my 6th seed, I think the Chicago Bears are going to be the final wild card team. They are a very underrated defense, I think, this season with the changes they've made after having a horrific season defensively in 2013. But as we know, their offense is one of the better ones, not only in the conference, but in the entire NFL as well. I think they can easily win 9 or 10 games this season, squeeze into that last wild card spot as a representative of the NFC North. But that'll do it for my first edition of my NFC playoff predictions. Make sure you check out my AFC one as well, and stay tuned for more of our NFL offseason coverage here at SBR Forum. But until then, I'm Jordan Sharp, and this has been another edition of the Sharp Pick.